proper story are supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's some prinnies whose whole world got twisted, leaving them stranded on a podcast in the sky. He get up, sets off to do an intro where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble, and now we're going to talk for a spell.
Welcome to PrinnyCast, episode 21 for February 16th, 2013. With me today is, as always, my good pal Grover.
Hello.
And since Mike is out changing headquarters this weekend, we've got a special guest, Royal from ThoseGentlemenGamers.
Hello.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, Chris. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Oh, goodness. I had to do the joke. Sorry. But yes, as he says, I am Royal from ThoseGentlemenGamers. Myself and my counterpart, Gabbler, do Let's Plays and streams at ThoseGentlemenGamers on YouTube and Gabbler on Twitch. So, hi, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Welcome once again.
Thank
and
you.
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there in podcast land.
Yeah.
For those that aren't horribly agitated at that very word.
Or, single. Good job. Way to make an entire population feel like crap.
I know, I think I just depressed myself.
Well done, Valentine's Day. You've ruined life for everyone.
And as always, a special thanks to longplays.org for all their help getting us all those wonderful video footage that we use all the time. And to galaxybugs.com, where our official PrinnyCast forums, I'll get the word out,
There you go.
and get on servers for Minecraft and Unreal Tournament, and who knows what the future will hold for them. And don't forget Grover's channel on both YouTube at PCGOTW and at now twitch.tv at PrinnyCast_Grover, where we actually are live streaming every week this crazy show.
Don't forget the show streams every day from 4 to 8, unless, like yesterday, I made an appointment and completely forget about it.
You gotta take a break every now and then.
Yeah.
Have your
Doing
weekend
daily
break.
streams is something oh man. We do 2 a week that we guarantee, and that's it. That's true. Listen, I'm putting up 4 videos a day. I'm not going to do daily streams, too.
It gets to be a bit much.
Yeah. There's a point where you're like, do I really like video games this much? Or do I just think that I'm an amateur comedian and deserve a bigger audience? And then you decide that both are true, and you just go and play video games.
So speaking of games, what have you guys been playing this week, Grover?
The first thing I played is Field Runners 2, and I beat that recently, and there's really nothing. It's just like, you beat the final mission, and it's fantastic. You won. Here's your credits. And then you go back to it. And that game, I find kind of annoying, although I love it at the same time. I still don't have all the towers unlocked. I still have half of them to unlock, and every time I unlock a tower, I'm able to last a little longer in every level, and that just seems kind of ass-backward for me for a tower defense game.
They're trying to extend the life of the game by making you grind dope
Yeah,
towers.
that's what I think, too. I wish they had more content. There's not enough levels, and I was on their forum telling them maybe they should have a little workshop and things where you could develop your own levels for people to play. And then I was playing League of Legends, and I'm level 15 there now, and I'm playing that jungler Outer or something, the spirit person. And yeah, I'm getting alright with him. At first I was just like, what the hell? This character doesn't make much sense, and then I played for like 2 days with him, and I was like, oh wow, this character's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, you get more respect out of playing him than an APE.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He's very awesome. Plus, I never jungled before until I played with him, so I started jungling, and I was like, wow, I really like being in the jungle areas, and jumping out and ganking people. So I can't wait for level 20 because I'm looking at all these runes and I'm just kind of drilling over. I'm like, runes. But every time I get enough points where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save them to buy runes, I'm like, hey, I can buy this character and buy that instead. So there's that.
Yep.
And then I've been playing Don't Starve, and oh man, they've been adding so much crap to that game. And the last week they added hallucinations and everything else to the game. Your character slowly goes mad if you do certain things. And at first you're just like, well, this is kind of cool, but it really goes crazy. Like at night you'll be sitting there and you'll hear spooky music and hands will jump out and try to put out your fire, and it just
I saw one of those.
Yeah, the screen starts flickering like crazy, and this is insanity, and that's meant it's the insanity expansion. And I also played Awesome Knots, but I only played it for like 8 minutes, and it's kind of like a 2D League of Legends.
It's a side-scrolling League of Legends is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I was just like, this game seems very awesome, but then I kind of got distracted and didn't get to it. And then I played 15 minutes of Beat the Beast this week, so I'm really just winding down when it comes to that.
We've had plenty else to keep you company, so...
Yep, and that's it for me.
So about you, Royal?
Well,
This is going to be a long list, isn't it?
Yeah, I do 4 Let's Play videos a day, so I'll shoot through those real quick. Don't Starve, of course I did. Grover, you're ruining things for me. Stop telling me about stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But I like Tuesday's patch came out, and I set it specifically up so that I could record on Wednesday, and you immediately see so much new stuff. It's like, hey, here's multiple saves in the game. Thank you. Yes, please. We wanted that. Oh, hey, here's the adventure game type. Yeah, and it's like, oh, sweet. That's going to be fun. And then I killed some weird shadow flea thing that comes up at nighttime. I don't know if you've seen one of them yet, Grover, but they're scary, and they're not fun, but you have to chase them with a torch and hit them with it, because that's about all you can do. But other than that, Dishonored I played this week, Pokemon Happy Wheels, and I started Metro 2033 as kind of like We Love You THQ, and if you go, what are we going to do? Even though they're pretty much out the door. Because I had never played Metro 2033, but I was looking forward to Last Light coming out so that I could play Metro 2033 and then just jump into Metro Last Light. But I don't know what's going to... I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen to that game now because of what's going on with THQ, so there was that. Played Resident Evil with Banana, which we're doing a co-op of. And then I played... This one's important, guys. I played Aliens Colonial Marines.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it as bad as they say?
No. I mean, listen, so I'll put it to you this way. I have a big issue with this, and I think we may be talking about some stuff like this a little later, so I won't go too far into it. But I have this huge issue with people expecting a game that's been in development for 10 years, just because it's been in development for 10 years, to be this mind-blowing, groundbreaking thing, like it's going to be the next big, huge title, when they let other devs and other franchises come out every year and continue to be the same game over and over again. Like, when was the last time you saw something really new and groundbreaking in any sports title, or in the Call of Duties, or hell, even Battlefield now is getting to the point where it's like I'm seeing the same stuff over and over again. Was Battlefield 3 really Battlefield 3, or was it Battlefield Bad Company 2 slightly revamped? And the answer is it's slightly revamped. There's nothing really impressive about it. And this game does nothing impressive, but at the same time, it delivers a really exciting, the multiplayer is great. The campaign has its issues, it does, but does that warrant being, like, below average? I don't think so. I think an average score should be an average game, which this is. I don't see why people are hating it so much, but that might just be me. I mean, the big reviewers, I even watched Adam Sessler do a review of it, because I was like, listen, Sessler, I've always bowed down to your opinion of games, because he's been in the industry for 10 years, and
he's gotten really grumpy and antagonistic over the last 5-6 years.
This is what I think the problem with his review of Colonial Marines is that he even says at the beginning, when he was 12 or something, he went and saw the first Aliens film before he was supposed to be allowed to, and it was this big deal for him. Like, it was this big, epic moment in his life that changed the way he looked at life and cinema. You cannot judge a game based on the movie franchise and its success as a classic film. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be like if you picked up any of the Twilight books and you read it, you'd be like, this is garbage. Why would I ever watch a movie about it? Well, because preteens like it. That's their thing. You know what I'm saying? There's always an audience for something. And I think what Aliens Colonial Marines will do well is what I like to see. The Hobbit movie, that got bad ratings because, oh, they changed the story slightly. Well, the newer first 3 Star Wars films, oh, stop messing with my franchise. No, guys, this is to bring new people in to enjoy it so that we don't have to talk to the same, you know, regardless. It may be 3 million people who love it to death and will talk to you relentlessly about it, but eventually you're going to talk to those 3 million people about everything you have to talk about. This is bring new fans, and I think that's always a good thing. But anyways, soapbox, deactivate. Let's see, this week for the stream we played StarCraft 2 custom maps. Of course, those are always fun. It's like the purchase of StarCraft 2, I knew I would regret because Koreans. There's no way that I can be competitive at that game when any Korean player I've ever come up against immediately trounces me in the first 5 minutes. Yeah. I just have nothing to do with that. So, but I'll play it and I'll try to be competitive with friends and stuff like that. But then you've got mods, and they're not even like, oh, download all this stuff. It's just, here's a map and I made all the changes that you need to play a game that's completely different from StarCraft. We played a card game on there last week. Card in StarCraft, I was like, amazing, you know? Like, more games need to offer me that. That's what's groundbreaking. But anyways, We played StarCraft 2 Dungeon Land. If you guys haven't played that,
I'm not sure I've even heard of it.
It's like a cartoonified, there's a thing that's called like Dungeon Lord or something like that. It's kind of like that. It's 4 players max, which kind of sucks, but you've got a Dungeon Master who's the evil guy and he's going to spawn stuff up on you, and then you've got 3 characters and you've got like a Ranger type, a Warrior type, and a Mage type, and they go through and try to do this dungeon, and it's a previously generated map, so you don't have like hours and hours and hours of setup, but every time we've played the same map, we've had completely different encounters within it, and it's very fun. It's got a lot of like glitches and stuff like that, because I don't think it was fully done when they released it, but it's been getting better and better every time we've played it.
I assume it's an indie game?
Yeah, it's definitely an indie. Okay. It's a small little thing. I thought for a little bit that it was a greenlit project, but I don't think so anymore. I think it was just a release, and it came out from Critical Studio and then Paradox. So Paradox isn't necessarily super indie, but they were the guys behind Magicka. And if you remember that game, it was so innovative and cool, but it was so frustratingly broken. Like connectivity issues and all of that. So this is much the same, except for there's not a whole lot of real innovation to it. It's a lot of stuff that you've done before, but it's got a good promise and just has a lot of glitches. And then I've been playing the mess out of onlineboardgame.com. It is just what it sounds like. It's a fake online board game that has you vote on music to play through a YouTube jukebox, which includes troll music as well as like, some of your favorite dubstep and stuff like that. And it's got events like randomly Everyone Has AIDS will pop up, and it plays the soundbite from Team America World Police. And it's just stuff like that. And you have AIDS, you'll die in 8 turns, but if you're a succubus, then you're immune to AIDS, but you can give someone else AIDS whenever you seduce them and have sex with them.
I remember watching this on one of your casts.
Yeah. And we played it on the cast, and since then I just have not been able to, like, anytime I have a spare hour, I'm probably sitting down playing that game in addition to something else, because it's not super attention required, it's not like a game that you play full screen. It's an in-browser board game that prompts you when it's your turn and stuff like that, so it's very, very fun, but that's actually been what I've been spending the majority of my time on this week.
Why does Zynga try to rip it off?
Yeah, well, we also, on that same night, we did Oh My God Pop, and that's all from Zynga. And we're sitting there like, these games are all fun and everything, but they're failed versions of games that we love, like Bomberman, stuff like that. So, yeah, Zynga's really good at that, where they go, hey, that's a cool idea for a game. Do you want to make that for us? Yeah, sure, I'll make that game for you, Zynga. Okay, you're fired. We need your intellectual property. I see ya. But, so that's what I've been playing this week. Is that enough? It was pretty long.
Yeah, it was pretty long. I'll make up for it with the shortness of mine. I've been working on my Minecraft city a little more this week. It's largely been landscaping, because I finally got single-player commands to work properly again. It's screwing with my textures a little bit, but being able to make the rivers where I need them and the oceans where I need them, that's been a huge help. Played a little bit of Congregate, largely Band of Heroes and a couple of the other new ones, but because I've been watching so much of Grover playing Field Runners 2, I've felt the need to get back into a tower defense, so I've been playing a little bit of Bloons 5 to be specific, and 5.
Come out with one every year?
I'm not sure. This one's got a lot more grindiness to it. You save up cash to buy new stuff, and
it's like
you still level up your towers independently, but you can use your Congregate cash to buy perks and stuff, all Facebook game style. Not crazy.
Oh, okay. I played that one then. Okay.
And then I tried out Dungeons, which I finally got downloaded. It was a late Christmas present, which I still need to find them to thank them for. I haven't seen them. I'm reading 2 different chats. That's kind of awkward.
Just a little.
Yeah, the free-to-play model, and you can buy it on Steam and remove it. So Bloons is on Steam? I didn't know that. That's interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much my entire list. Now, Dungeons is a little bit of what Royal was talking about earlier, where you're the dungeon master and you're trying to keep out only instead of other players.
You're talking about Dungeons the Dark Lord, right?
Yeah.
That game is ridiculously fun if you can play like some multiplayer with it. I didn't expect to have fun with multiplayer dungeon lording, but it's pretty fun.
Now, my problem with it is that it treats you like it's going to hold your hand, and then when the game actually starts, it's okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What am I doing? I can't even find myself.
I think I have like 3 hours on record with that game, and it was like the first hour was mind-numbingly boring because, oh my god, stop holding my hand. And then the second hour was like, where did you go? Come back. And then the third hour was like, alright, we finally learned everything, but every time we log off this game and come back to play again, we've forgotten everything.
So you're telling me it's going to get worse because I've just played the first.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to get worse, and then it's going to get better. And if you can retain, like, I'm just not the type of person. Like, I can retain simple controls. WASD is move and use your mouse to look around and stuff like that. That's fine. But when it's like, here's 12,000 controls that are uniquely specific to our game, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's not controls mostly. It's just like what you need to do and what you have to make happen and accomplish and stuff like that. But I think our biggest issue with it was we played like half of a tutorial level and then just jumped into it for the stream. So that might have had something to do with it. We never had the opportunity for it to teach us much of anything.
Well, I'm playing the campaign and I'm still confused, so
yeah.
It probably wouldn't help too much.
There's games like that where you can sit in there training for 2 hours and you just come out and you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm that way with like side-scrolling fighters. It's like, what button does what? A is low kick, B is high kick, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, mash A, B, C, D, E, okay, got it, buttons. And that's all I do, just mash
Sometimes
buttons.
that's all you need to do with some of those.
Yeah, I mean,
until you find it.
yeah, there's no way I'm ever going to go pro doing it, but I can take out some of my friends who come over and they're like, man, I'm the best at this game, and I'm like, watch this, button mash, now you're dead. Oh yeah? Do a fatality in Mortal Kombat. No, I don't need to. That requires remembering a set number of buttons to press in a certain way. I cannot do that. I will mash buttons and end up, like, slapping you in the face and you die when I was supposed to do a fatality. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how I end Mortal Kombat games. High punch.
Before we get into game news, I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I have no idea where else to put them, so I'll just throw them here. First of all is a little indie game called Project Awakened, and it seems to be it's going to be a third-person shooter sort of thing, but it's so ridiculously customizable. Think of something along the lines of City of Heroes, where you build your own character, complete with the look, and the trailer here will help out a little, get a better idea of how all that works, and then you even customize your abilities once you get into it. So you can technically recreate just about anything you can imagine. And there seems, I don't know, it looks like there's going to be some balancing issues that's definitely going to come into play here, because some abilities are obviously going to be more powerful than others. So being this early in its development, I don't know how they're going to balance all that. But just the idea of it sounds really, really intriguing. I don't know if it's like a player versus player or if it's all going to be like mission objectives. It's not that far enough along.
And then it immediately, like, that evokes this memory to me of, like, I like R.A. Salvatore novels, and he has a character, Drizzt, who's a dark elf with scimitars and a panther. And it's like every game you ever see with an elf that has dark skin will always have some guy who's named Drizzt and he tries to be a ranger and all this stuff. Or, there's tons of other characters that stuff happens with, and it's like, how many times are we going to see Arthas with Frostmourne walking around in this game?
Pretty much.
Yeah, like, who's the most powerful guy I can think of? Arthas, Drizzt, Sephiroth Cloud, yeah. And then it's like, that's cool, but, it's way more fun for me to create a character, I guess. I don't know.
Then on the other end of the spectrum, this has actually been out on the iOS for a while, but I just wanted to say something about it because it was pointed out to me by a pixel artist friend of mine. There's a game called Final Fantasy, All the Bravest, where it takes a large chunk of characters and monsters out of a good many of the Final Fantasy games, and it's like this ongoing match of constantly fighting the monsters over and over and over, and you get this crew of up to 32 characters. And I don't know, that for fans, it sounds like the craziest, most wonderful thing you could possibly have, until you realize that this game is one of the most simplest games ever devised, in the fact that because it's an iOS and it's got the touchscreen, instead of doing things like selecting commands to do specific things, all the characters, they just have one attack, and that's it. So you just slide your hand across the screen, all the characters jump, do their attack, they recharge for the next attack. That's the game. So this is one of those.
We heard you like pixels, so we put a bunch of them in a game where it's Fruit Ninja, guys. Don't worry about it.
There's
I'm looking at it
something
on
awesome.
They could add this to like PS3 or something. Make some weird interdimensional game out of it.
For the PlayStation Move, the Kinect, and the Wii, where you just swipe in between the little
You're just
screens.
sitting there. Yeah, it's like using a book on Kindle, except instead of turning pages, I'm moving 32 characters.
With a single hand. And then there's Microsoft's Illumaroom. I do not know if this is just a concept idea, if this is something they're actually going to make, but it's basically a projection system that attaches to your game system in some form. And you know those TVs that have those backlights that will change the color depending on what show you're watching, and it'll try to match the dominant color to make it feel bigger? Mm-hmm. This does something very similar. So say there's a bunch of explosions going on around you, it will actually project the explosions outside your TV. I wouldn't call it a 3D effect because, it's projecting on your walls glass or your floor or whatever. But if you're in a dark room, I can imagine that has kind of an interesting effect for you. But
yeah, it's supposed to be for that immersive effect. We had a conversation about this on our stream, and I want to bring this up to you and make you realize something. How many first-person shooters have you ever played where when you get shot, the entire outside of your screen just turns blood red?
Yes.
That's all you'd see. Like, that's all the majority of Xbox players would see is like, oh, Call of Duty. Why is my wall red for 3 hours? Oh, no. And it's like, you know, but it looks cool. It has potential. I mean, but PC has been able to do that with detecting diodes for a while now, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like every gimmick they come up with feels like they're really just playing catch-up, but that's because I'm a PC fanboy.
Well, this one sounds ridiculously expensive anyway, because you would have to have the projector unit, and those typically are not cheap, even if you build it yourself. Gimmicks.
I think it would just be really distracting to have that kind of thing going on when I'm playing.
And that's the thing, right, is it's supposed to be for immersion, so it's like, but I've never played a game on Xbox that's truly immersed me. When I want immersion, I go to PC, and I get, like, stuff like, Amnesia, right, where the entire ambience of that game forces you to be immersed. It's not a gimmick with lights on the wall. It's, here's an interesting thing that's happening, now pay close attention, and you're like, yes, master. What, 15 hours have gone by since I started playing this game? Well, my pants are soaked with pee. That's true immersion, and I think that the gaming industry is trying to force immersion through gimmicks. Motion gaming, gimmick for immersion. You know, they want people to sit down and spend more hours on their game, and instead of holding the developers responsible for that and saying, guys, make us immersive games with good stories, they go, oh, well, you know, here's lights on the wall. You know, it's been happening for a long time, and I just think that it's one of those things. That's another thing. I could rant about this stuff all day.
Yeah, I don't think you have any problem filling up showtime.
Nope, not at all. I'm a talker.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But on to game news. Not that we haven't already been talking about game news already, but there's been some crazy news this week as big cable company Comcast bought out the remaining shares they didn't already own of NBC Universal for $16.7 billion. Quote, our decision to acquire GE's ownership is driven by our sense of optimism for the future prospects of NBC Universal and our desire to capture future value that we hope to create for our shareholders, according to Brian Roberts, chairman and chief executive of Comcast, if I could speak English. It still needs to be finalized by the regulators to see all the legalities through and stuff, but it's pretty much a completed deal, so once again, a megacorp gets even more megacorpy.
And it's just so ridiculous. Why would you allow a television provider to own a television network? I mean, does that not scream like stupid to anyone else?
Yeah,
conflict of interest?
Major conflict of interest.
It's like, hey guys, now for Time Warner cable owners, NBC Universal costs $17 a month, and you have to pay for it individually because Comcast, baby, woo! And it's like, it just doesn't make sense.
Welcome to our dystopian future.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Have you guys seen Continuum?
I've heard about it, yeah.
There's a show on Sci-Fi called Continuum where corporations are the government in the future, and it's got this whole plot or whatever that I'm not really going to delve into, but it's like, I can see it happening. Every day I see more evidence that one day we're going to be the United States of Google, and, you know, every civilian/user is going to be required to have an Android phone imprinted into their brain.
Sponsored by Disney.
Yeah, sponsored by Disney. Listen, I've said for a long time Google is Skynet. I mean, Google, if there was ever going to be a real-life Skynet, it's going to be Google.
They already have all your information.
Exactly. They have everything they want from you. They know where you go whenever you go somewhere if you have an Android phone.
Yep, they just need your money now.
Yeah, and they have plenty of that, too.
Yeah, so watch them buy out PayPal or something.
It's so funny that, like, people never thought anything about Google, and this company is making multi-billion-dollar paychecks off of ad revenue.
It wouldn't surprise me if they start making their own OS, especially the way Windows has been cheating people lately.
Yeah, well, they tried to, remember? And Microsoft was like, no, you can't do that. We won't do Google anymore. And then they did Bing anyways. I don't know why Google didn't just go, oh, you're going to step on our turf? Well, yeah, guess what? People loved the iPhone for years, and then Android came out in a matter of almost overnight. People were like, oh, iPhone? That's archaic crap.
Yep.
Android. So you don't want to mess with Google. Like, you really don't want to confront Google. They will rip your business to shreds and leave you just picking up pieces.
Well, speaking of Monopoly and the ever-popular redesigning of classic board games with franchise-related themes, gear up for Mass Effect version of Risk coming out this fall.
What?
So that'll join the ranks of Halo, StarCraft, and Metal Gear iterations of Risk. So a good number of Valve employees, including Jerry Ellsworth and Jason Hoffman, have left or have been fired from Valve. A confirmed number hasn't been released yet, but it seems to be a good 25 or more people, and largely came from the hardware and Android development teams. Valve has stated that it will not harshly affect any of its ongoing projects.
Half-Life is delayed.
Half-Life. It will never be a Half-Life 3. What are you talking about?
Half-Life 3 is a lie. That's the cake is a lie, and the cake is Half-Life 3. Have you not understood this yet?
You know the joke. Valve can't count to 3.
Yeah, they just can't do it. 2.5. We'll see a 2.5, and then that'll be it.
Spin-off.
Yeah. So because listen, Valve is one of those companies, I love to give them a hard time, but every once in a while they'll listen to their consumer feedback. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who has Steam currently knows that all you have to do is plug your PC into your monitor. Or it's like, I'm sorry, your TV.
That too.
I can speak English, guys, don't worry about it.
Hey, you're on a show with me. No worries about that.
I've heard the flubs before, so, but yeah, Valve is supposed to be one of those companies, right? Like, haven't we all seen the Reddit posts where it's like, guys, I used to work at Valve and I was sick for 12 years and Gabe just paid me and said, hey, come back when you feel better or whatever.
Yeah, I think these were more of necessity than it was anything else. Somebody, this job was probably pretty much over. But
right. Oh, hey, thanks for developing Steambox for us. Now get out.
I think that's the same thing that happened with Superbot when they let go of people a while back. So Triumph Studios was having a hard time getting their Age of Wonders 3 off the ground when along comes a most surprising funding push in the form of $100,000 from the pockets of Minecraft creator Notch. Notch apparently left no strings attached to the deal, keeping out any of the production from the game himself. So he's just handing them over the money, and here you go, I love the series, make it happen.
Not even an investment. He's not declaring it an investment.
Not at this point, no.
Wow. Guys, I want to hate Notch so bad, but he makes it so hard.
He does. And Naughty Dog's big bruiser of a AAA title, The Last of Us, has been delayed for a few weeks more to the new date of June 14th. Meanwhile, players can get a hold of a demo version by buying the upcoming God of War Ascension when it comes out on March 12th. And Darkstalkers Resurrection now has its date and price finalized as the HD remake of a very enhanced Darkstalkers 2, Night Warriors, and actually Night Warriors Darkstalkers Revenge to be more correct. And Darkstalkers 3 hits PSN on March 12th, and then a day later to the Xbox Live, both for about $15. And Nintendo announced a bunch of new 3DS content as Mario Golf World Tour, Mario & Luigi Dream Team, Donkey Kong Country Returns, and Animal Crossing New Leaf, plus a DLC for Luigi that is coming to the Wii U's version of New Super Mario Bros. Well, New Super Mario Bros. That is the Wii. Anyway, and all that's supposed to be happening this year.
Wow.
They said they were going to be producing a lot of new content because of their apology last month, but these are mostly 3DS titles, so I guess they're waiting for one of the expos to come up before they launch the rest of it.
Yeah, that's what you're going to hear at the next E3 is you're going to hear like, oh hey guys, we've got something else to add to the Nintendo Wii U. It's a stick that you put on your touchpad, and now we've got all these games for it. Because that's what Nintendo loves to do. Gimmick, line of games. Gimmick, line of games.
And meanwhile, Gas-Powered Games, the guys behind Dungeon Siege, has canceled the Kickstarter for Wildman that we reported about, who had some major layoffs just a little around that same time, and CEO Chris Taylor was basically saying the game was a make or break for the company. Well, he wasn't kidding. This week there came to be some salvation as Wargaming, the creators of the incredibly popular World of Tanks, has outright bought the studio. This comes a month after they also bought Day One Studios, the team behind the Fear franchise. And speaking of Kickstarter, they launched a brand new free iPhone and iPod Touch app that will allow them to join in on the Kickstarter activities as well. No app for any other formats has been mentioned. It has not been ruled out either. And so with THQ gone now and most of its franchises bought up or taken under wing, many were wondering the fate of the WWE wrestling franchise and where it might be heading now. And according to Bloomberg, the question was answered as Take-Two acquired the rights, which somehow seems a bit fitting. However, this means that a long-time wrestling developer, UK's? I think it's UK's. People's called it Ukes for years, but anyway, they aren't along for the ride, and they've been part of the wrestling universe for Super Nintendo era. So who will actually be developing the game is another story yet answered. And while we're on the THQ news, there it is.
There we go.
Former THQ subsidiary Relic, Company of Heroes, has a movie coming out in just 2 weeks. Yes,
Wow.
a little head scratching. The World War II RTS has no real plot to speak of, but then that might explain partly why it's heading straight to DVD. But at least there's no sign of Uwe Boll anywhere.
Goodness.
But
Thank you.
Company of Heroes starring Tom Sizemore, Jurgen Prochnow, and a whole bunch of others releases this February 26th. And guess who popped up to mention a little hint about a long, quiet, anticipated game? Creative director Fumide Ueda, the man behind Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Some people call it Ico. I'm pretty sure it's Ico.
Yeah.
He has said that Sony will be making an announcement soon about the seemingly forgotten Last Guardian that was shown in E3 way back in 2009. He has left Sony since then, though he's under contract to finish the game before his final bid farewell from the company. The fate of the game has been uncertain for a long time, especially after its trademark in the US had gone so long without a completed product that it actually expired by default.
Wow.
So, at this point, Fumita is basically saying that everything is in Sony's hands. He can't make anything official in one form or the other, but I have a feeling this is going to be another one of those E3 tales. You're going to see something big from it.
Hopefully. We'd hate to see it fizzle into nothing, you know? I mean, The Last Guardian, how long has there been just this buzz around that? And it's dead. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I think it's spanned the life of a PlayStation 3 console, right?
Very possibly, because I'm not sure when they actually started development, because the E3 was just the first time anybody had seen it. They'd heard about it before that.
That's not forever, but that's, you know, it's been a really long time that's just been a buzzword around the gaming communities.
And speaking of games raising their heads from the proverbial grave, Double Fine announced this week that Brutal Legend will be coming to the PC, complete with both DLC that was released on the consoles, and touting to have more detailed visuals and improved performance, and all for the same price of $20. Pre-orders will also nab Team Fortress 2 players access to Eddie's hair and his guitar.
Nice.
I didn't hate Brutal Legend. I thought it was...
Brutal Legend is a solid game. I'm just talking about the, here's stuff for Team Fortress 2. Buy it on Steam.
Yep. There is always that. If they're always worried that something's not going to sell, they'll just attach it to something that's
Here's
more
your
popular.
hats, you crazy individuals.
And you can't forget that new Steam news, that Steam is now operational to Linux, completing the trifecta of modern PC operating systems with 50 Linux titles going on a super sale for the week until this Thursday, February 21st. It will also come with the big picture mode support for playing stuff on TVs, just like the other systems. For Capcom's 30th anniversary, Capcom Unity is using their forums to give away one game every single day throughout the remainder of 2013. That's over 200 free games for various systems of a lot of their latest games. You need to say something. Grimjin is missing your voice, man.
Oh yeah, my video just stopped again. It just said, hey, I'm done. No, you're not. You're hours long. Why do you keep stopping?
It may be because it's too long and it's fudging something up.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on here.
Gosh,
keep going. But yeah. I am here, and this is definitely your podcast. I'm just keep having technical issues.
Also, he's trying to get a word in edgewise around me because I'm allowed.